Namaskar and welcome to our program. Our guest today is an author of 17 books. He has made documentary films. He is also a spiritual master who doesn't wear any robes. So he's very much like you and me. We are delighted to have on our program today Ruzben Bharucha.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the program, Ruzben.
Thank you for calling me back.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
We have a tradition on the program where we start with the quote of the day.
Okay.
So why don't we have a quote from your book?
A day devoid of any act of selfless goodness is a day wasted.
This concept of selflessness
Yeah.
is a running theme in most of your books.
What I've been taught by Sai Baba of Shirdi and through various sages is that every act, if it does not come from selflessness, then there is an agenda to that act.
Yeah.
And if there is an agenda to an act, then there is a business deal going on.
Yeah.
If I am good to you because I want something of you, then my goodness is just a business deal with you.
Yeah.
But when I am good to you with no agenda, I don't want anything from you, it is that time the master smiles. So I think selflessness is another word for spirituality.
Okay.
Just like oneness. When I operate from oneness with you, I am automatically operating from selflessness. There is no selfish agenda in me.
Mm-hmm. You know, when we read about these things, or when you speak about these things, or when Baba speaks through you, these seem to be very easy to understand concepts, but somehow they don't get translated to us, for us, most of us, lay people in life. Why is that?
You know, one of my favorite books is Paramahansa Yogananda's book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, in which he writes, God is simple, everything else is complex.
He does.
Okay? So what are our truths? Be a decent human being. Don't try and hurt somebody. Don't try and take something that doesn't belong to you. But what is the eternal truth of us? That we are all going to drop this body.
Yeah.
This body is going to die. Right? But if you see the way we are living our lives, it looks as though we have found some way of taking along with us all our possessions.
Yeah.
When an individual knows that he comes with his or her karma and he goes with only his or her karma, then I think we'll start operating from the state of selflessness.
But do you think this is a part of the human destiny or DNA?
No, it's just human greed.
It's just human greed.
You can't put everything onto destiny now. Yes.
Or the great human flaw that
no? I don't think we are flawed. I think we have become flawed.
Okay.
I don't think our pristine state has any flaw, because we are a spark that comes out from the great flame. So if you and I have come out from the goddess, how can we be flawed?
No, we can't.
Right? It's through the use of free will where my flaws start accumulating.
Yeah.
So I don't think we are flawed in our original state. So our spirit is not flawed. Our soul is. Because our soul is the collective consciousness of all the lifetimes we have lived. And with that, all the nonsense comes along, all the greed, all the...
But sadly, if we are not able to cope with all this in this life, is this also this baggage that we also carry forward in the next life?
100%. See, it's a very simple thing. If I believe in a creator, then that creator should be just, fair, not partial, right? Then whatever I am going through, the seeds I have sown somewhere in some lifetime.
True.
I would rather not believe in God than believe in an unjust God. So if I am going through hell for whatever reason, I have initiated it in some lifetime. Because if the laws of karma and reincarnation are not valid, then God is not valid. Because then you have a partial God.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So what is my free will? How I go through what is in store for me, I think is my main free will at this present moment. I can either go through it calmly, saying that may His will be done, having faith in the divine wisdom and divine compassion, or then I try and manipulate and try and do wheeling dealings and try and fight and abuse. So my destiny is of my doing. My destiny has begun because of my use of free will, either in the right way or the wrong way. So I am the maker of my own destiny. So I am the creator of my own heaven and hell. I think that is how important free will is.
You know, people normally get confused between free will and karma. So मेरे ऐसे कर्म थे इसलिए आज मैं ये इस स्थिति में
Yeah,
हूँ.
but आपके कर्म ऐसे क्यों हुए? It is because of your free will, right? You have used your free will somewhere. I've gone to a mall, I've gone completely ballistic with my credit card.
Yeah.
And then after 15 days, when the bill comes, I start abusing the mall owner, shop owner, everyone. I have used my credit card.
Right.
I have to pay the bill. So the laws of Baba says कि कर्म की भट्टी से श्री राम भी न बच सके. Even Lord Rama, who is considered by Lord Shiva, just his name is equivalent to the Vishnu Sahasranama. Even he had to go through the bhatti of karma. So if Lord Rama had to come down to go through karmic give and take, then who are you and me? So karma is the consequence of free will. So at this present moment, I cannot say क्या करे karma ऐसे है. क्या करे means what? I have messed up somewhere. तो अभी क्या करे means what?
अच्छा, तो अगर हम बोलें कि this is the moment where you want to start all over again, is it possible?
100%. You can start all over again. But the bhatti of karma you have to go through.
I suppose you get the strength then to go through it.
Then see, if you come to a state where you pray to your goddess, God master that I'm not seeking anything anymore, just bless me that I go through whatever is in store for me gracefully, with calm surrender, I think you have started.
But when we talk about the heroes or the protagonists in your book, they are not really very calm, and they are definitely not in a state of surrender when they start out. For example, if you take your latest book, Ice with Very Unusual
See, I'll
Spirits.
tell you what. I am flawed. So my characters are going to have their own flaws. But with all their flaws, there is an inherent faith in each one of them. With all their flaws, there is an inherent goodness about each one of them. So there is nothing wrong in being angry at your master.
Okay.
A child has a right to be angry, throw a tantrum. But to become bitter and negative, that is where the problem is. To start playing the victim, that is where the problem is. And none of my characters play the victim.
No, they don't.
I don't believe in the victim syndrome.
They are just very expressive in what they are
Yes,
going through.
Yes.
So I suppose that is what makes them transparent.
Yes, they come from the heart, and then whether it's the master or whether it's anybody else, they're going to say what it is. But eventually what is important, that every character surrenders. We are all the amalgamation of our karma.
Yeah.
Okay? Whatever we go through, we have initiated some time back. I think if you want to be on the path of spirituality, first you need to take the onus of that responsibility. Like Alcoholic Anonymous. I am Ruzben Bharucha and I am addicted to alcohol. If I don't say this, my recovery doesn't start because I am not taking the onus of responsibility. if I play the victim, I am never going to get beyond alcohol because I am playing a victim.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. So where karma is also concerned, when you're on your knees and you tell the goddess, yes, I have messed up, and I take onus of that responsibility. Just bless me that I can go through whatever is in store for me as calmly and gracefully as possible. That I can make you at least happy and proud of me now. I think you don't need kundalini, you don't need chakras, you don't need scriptures, you don't need anything. You're on the path.
Yeah. In fact, in this book, there is this place where Aaj says, he prays to Baba and says, please forgive me, please have mercy.
Yes.
And Baba said that inadvertently, he has said the most powerful prayer on earth.
Because there are milestones in our destiny which are not going to change.
Right.
They are not going to change. I have to go through it. I've come down in this lifetime to go through it. Now, me praying that don't let me go through those experiences is not going to make a difference to the cosmic karmic balance sheet. Why, you know, if I have come down to experience poverty for my spiritual growth, I can spend 20 hours a day praying that please get me beyond poverty. It's not going to happen. My main karmic memorandum of agenda is this, that I have to experience poverty and go beyond it. And here I am telling Baba, you know, 20 hours a day, make me rich, make me rich. And he says, but beta, you know what, this is your sole purpose.
Yeah.
But if I were to pray to him that keep me in whatever state you want, but bless me that I can go through it calmly, with dignity, with joyous surrender, I think you've cracked the deal. You know, you've learned your experience, you've learned your lesson.
But when we talk of this book in particular, this is a book of miracles. Lives are saved, and there is a lot of grace, divine grace. So how, does karma get somehow?
See, this book is basically a book written a minimum 2,100 years ago.
Okay.
In another form by sage Tiruvalluvar.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Scholars and philosophers down these centuries have called this book the Bible of life.
Right.
They've called it the universal Vedas. It's called Tirukural. Okay. 1,330 verses. Each verse 2 lines. And the sage who was a weaver, when he had reached a particular age, the villagers came to him and told him that you have so much of wisdom in you. When you leave your body, it's going to go away. So that was the time he sat down and wrote this book. Tirukural. Yeah. It covers everything. It covers everything. It covers relationships. It covers desires. It covers strengths. It covers weaknesses. So the first part of his book is on values. Second part is on wealth. And third part is on love. And whatever you need to know about life, I think is there in the book.
There is this lovely incident that you have mentioned between Thiruvalluvar and his wife Vasuki.
Yes.
That is really quite an eye-opener.
See, he didn't consider himself as a guru. So he had no disciple.
Right.
He was a weaver. But if anyone came to him, he showed that individual through his wife what faith is. So one day he was having cold rice, and this individual told him that what is more important, being in the grast or being in the mountains meditating? And he says, just 1 minute, and he calls out to his wife and tells her, this cold rice is burning hot.
Gotcha.
And she was drawing water from the well, and she just leaves everything, comes rushing to him takes a fan and starts fanning the cold rice. She knows it's cold. Okay? But she also knows that a husband, if he has told her something, there has to be a reason for it. And then after 10-15 minutes, she again touches it and says, I think it's cold now. So when she goes back, he looks at the man and says that, why do I need to go to any mountain when my own wife is a perfect example of what faith ought to be? So this man didn't believe in, leaving everything and going. He said, you got to be in your house, be married, have responsibilities, and yet walk the path.
That is also the Sikh way of life.
That is, every prophet has mentioned that, from Prophet Zarathustra to Guru Nanak Ji, to everyone. That true spirituality comes forth when you're in the world and yet not touched by the world. You want to know what spirituality is? Drive a vehicle in India for 2 weeks and you'll know what spirituality is. And if you're not screaming your lungs out at everyone, then you have reached a pretty good spiritual place.
In fact, that is what happens to most of us spiritual seekers. You go to a meditation class and you're very calm, and you drive back home and you're back to your the hell.
We have to, you and I and all of us, we have to integrate everything divine that our prophets have said into our day-to-day, moment-to-moment life.
Yeah.
So, if you ask me, I think a housewife, a woman, a homemaker who's got so much of responsibility on her and yet conducts herself with dignity and grace, trying to make ends meet, trying to do everything, is far more spiritual than the chap sitting in some Himalayan cave. Because she has to manage everything, keep the respect of the family, keep her own dignity, bring up her children, and yet not once lose her dignity about the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think spirituality is how one lives moment to moment. It's not the big things. I don't think Kundalini and Chakra is spiritual. It's mathematics. You know the formula and you get the answer, 2 + 2 is going to make 4. But real spirituality is moment to moment. I've never attached value to this body or this life. I've always felt there's something wrong, I shouldn't be, this is not the real me. So I had to gravitate towards the spirit world.
Yeah, yeah.
There was no other way out. There was no other way out. Because I know that eventually I am going to drop this body and I'm going to take back with me only what I have earned, not in the form of wealth, but in the form of karma. And if I know that truth, and I know most of us know this truth, I think it's a waste of life then to lead it any other way. That doesn't mean I'm not flawed, that doesn't mean I'm not messed up. I mean, you can call up my wife and she can speak to you 2 hours of how messed up I am. But it's not for the want of trying.
You know, that is where people identify with your books, with Rudra, with Rabda, and now with Ice, because one can feel that it's okay to be flawed. That's fine. We might have our different kinds of flaws.
It's okay to be flawed as long as you're trying to get over the flaw.
Yeah.
It's not okay to embrace that flaw and say, okay, this is how God's made me.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, but meaning that could be a starting point.
Yes,
yeah.
that has to be a starting point. That has to be a starting point. And we are all flawed. I'm sure, there must be spiritual gurus who are not flawed.
We haven't seen any
but
in the recent
99.9% aren't spiritual gurus.
Yeah.
And we need to work on ourselves. And what I like about the sage is he's very clear that you need to come from kindness, you need to come from compassion. That's what Baba keeps telling me.
In fact, Baba in this book has said that long before anything else happened, there was love, just
Yes.
selfless love.
Yes, we are the manifestation of the love the goddess had for us.
Yeah. You always talk in terms of the goddess, not the god.
Yeah, for me the creator is the goddess Ma Kali. The creator cannot be God, because if the creator was a male species, we wouldn't have 34 colors of orange. Life would have been black, white or grey. No, creation cannot come from man, can only come from the goddess energy. I'm very clear on that.
You would make a lot of feminists very pleased when they hear this.
No, it's the honest truth is that when Lord Shiva prostrated himself in front of Ma Kali, when Ma Kali was on the rampage, and I believe that it was Lord Shiva's surrender to Ma Kali that eased her temper down.
Yeah.
And after her temper cooled down, she realized that she was touching him by the foot. And that is the time the human element came and she put her tongue out.
Yeah.
So if you have Lord Shiva, the Mahadev, prostrating himself in front of Shakti, what is he trying to tell? He's trying to say that it is Shakti that brings forth everything, including Lord Shiva.
Yeah. So Shakti is actually the all-powerful.
Yes. And it has come from Shakti and it will go back into Shakti. And we can do all the song and dance about all the religions and all the books and all the prophets. But eventually that is it.
And Shakti has also found her own vehicles in this day and age, as we can see in Devi's Emerald, for example.
Yes. I was fortunate that I spent time with Swamiji Nayak, who was the medium of Ma Mukambika.
And that too an unwilling medium to begin
Yes, a
with.
very reluctant medium. And he was very clear. He used to call me Ruzben, and he used to tell me, Ruzben, it's all about the goddess. It's all about the goddess. And I would say yes, though that time I didn't really realize it. And he's taken Samadhi and, you know, I miss him.
You know, when one finds one true master, as in your case you found Sai Baba, or he found you, that's debatable. One tends to say, okay, this is it. But Baba has taken you on a journey where you've gone 2000 years in the past with Thiruvarur and then with Ma Mukambike and also other sages and all. Why do you think this is happening?
Because he wants to show me oneness.
Okay.
He wants to show me oneness. Eventually, if you were to concise every scripture into 5 lines, what is it going to say? Good thoughts, good words, good deeds.
Yeah.
Be a decent person.
Yeah.
If you got 2 rotis, share a little with someone who doesn't have it.
Yeah.
What else are they going to say?
No, they all say the same thing.
Yeah. That everything is within you. That this is not real. The spirit within you is real. What else are they going to tell me? What else are they going to tell anyone? But look at us, thousands of scriptures. And look at us, how we behave. Look at what we are doing to our country. Just look at it. Making a hash of everything.
Does that bother the spiritual masters? Are they distressed by what we are doing to ourselves?
If they are distressed, they seem to be doing nothing about it.
You mean to say human free will is stronger?
Yes, human free will is stronger than all the scriptures and all the wisdom in heaven.
So then we are...
Are you seriously trying to tell me that those people who are killing in the name of God truly believe God has told them to kill people?
They definitely can't.
Right? So then, but they're yet killing, right?
Yeah. So why is it that we don't see some sort of a divine intervention happening?
Why should it be? Why should everything be divine intervention? Then what are you... then what are you and me here for?
Because when innocents die, it's not in your hands or mine. And we are seeing it all over the world. We see it in Syria, we see it in the Middle East, we are seeing it in our country. How do you think?
It's all greed and power, and
So there's no end to this?
there's not going to be an end to it. Was there, even in Stone Age this was going on,
Yeah.
was it better 500 years ago?
I don't think so.
No, there was no social media, so nobody knew about it.
What was going on, yeah.
Yeah.
So
mankind has the potential of being God himself or the scum of creation. We have decided to be the scum of creation. 90% of our people are too busy trying to keep body and soul together,
Yeah.
right? It's the 10% who are the scum of creation that will not allow the 90% to live. But it is our fault, the 90%, because we keep quiet. We allow all this bullshit to go on. We are intolerant about the most inane things. When in India, you have thousands of children dying every day because they don't get food to eat. We are not intolerant about that. We don't, rally. There are no agitations. There's nothing. Our young girls are killed in the womb or when they are just a month old. No, we are not. We are very tolerant about all this shit.
Yeah.
Very tolerant. Our girls are being raped. We are tolerant. Our problem is not intolerance. Our problem is that we are tolerant about all the wrong things.
So it's, in a way, it is all right to be angry. It is right to rebel.
We better be angry. We better be angry, because if we are not angry for the right things, we are going down really fast.
You have been talking about this of late quite a bit, about talking to your ancestors.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems to be a very important thing.
See, we are the amalgamation of karma and DNA.
Right.
Okay. That's why every ancient religion insists on prayers for the well-being of ancestors.
Yeah.
Every ancient religion.
True.
Okay. Either you don't believe in God and don't believe in the spirit world, then I think you're justified in not believing that, there are ancestors of ours up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you believe in God, if you believe in the concept of heaven and hell, you believe in a spirit world, then when I drop this body, I am going to move to some place. In ancient times, the chula, when it was lit, the first roti was made in the name of ancestors, because they said, if you all had not done everything that you all did, we would not have been able to have this house or this chula or this roti. So Pitru Puja is a must. It's a way of thanking them. It's a way of thanking them. It's the way of praying for their well-being and seeking their blessings to live a normal life.
See, we might remember our Pitrus or our ancestors up to the grandfather, or at the most the great-grandfather.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. You don't need to know everybody by name. When you just say that, I pray for the well-being of my ancestors,
That's all inclusive.
I think that's all. It's the thought. It's the
a thought.
It's the thought. It's like my daughter calling me up as soon as the school gets over, every day at 3:30. And she'll speak to me for 20 seconds. But trust me, it's the thought
Yeah.
that, how are you? I am fine. Okay, now see you later. She doesn't need to make a song and dance about it. It's like if I have to do channeling and I have to work and I have to meet people, and my wife says that you go ahead, do all this, don't worry, I'm holding the fort here. It's the thought. These are little things that make a big difference.
Yeah.
You don't need to do a huge puja every day for the ancestors. I don't think they are even interested in all that.
Just sending out a short prayer is good enough.
If I were to die and my daughter remembers me once in a while with love, I think I would be happy. So
Yeah, it's as
that's
simple
it.
as
That's it.
You mentioned your wife and daughter quite a bit.
Yeah.
They have made a huge difference in your.
Yes, see, listen to me. For anyone in my position, where I'm doing things which are not regular,
Yeah.
I'm writing books, I channel, I counsel. Now we've started a Gaushala.
Acha.
If you don't have strong foundation behind you,
Yeah.
then this kind of work can't be done.
Can't be done.
Yes, I can do corporate work where money is there, where it's the regular thing, but this out of the box thing cannot be done.
Yeah.
You need to have a strong family. You need to have few good friends with you. You need all this. You need all this. These are the well-wishers of yours that you need, and they are always at the background. That's why in Ice I've dedicated it to Saina and Meher.
Yeah.
And
And
I've
to tolerating all the madness in your
Yes,
writing.
and I've also said that, but yes, thanks to you, if for some reason, whenever I start writing, your need to sit down and talk to me more grows. But it's a fact that any individual who is not doing things which are conventional requires a group of people who are taking care of his back. So
with this sort of a life that you lead, where you are channeling, you're counseling people, you're sitting and writing, do you find time for the family at all? Or?
Oh yes. My whole time for the family means what? I mean, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm there. When I write my books usually in 40 days.
Okay.
Okay, so Ice was written in 40 days. From Rabda, all my books have been written in 40 days. So,
but your earlier books were not.
Oh no, earlier books were 1 year, 2 years. I used to write a few paragraphs and then think I needed a break for a month. But now Baba said, no, enough of this nonsense. In 40 days, finish your books, and they are completing in 40 days. I write from 7 o'clock in the evening till 3 o'clock in the morning. But I spend time with them. I put my daughter to sleep. Again, come back to write, because I realized that my books are 80,000 words. Which means 2,000 words a day. Why create a song and dance about 2,000 words?
Yeah.
And my writing is pretty.
But it's not just your books. You're blogging also.
It's okay. It's okay. It comes about. I believe if you know how to spend the night properly, which means if you can have control over your sleep.
Yeah.
I never understood why Sufis would keep saying sleep less, eat less, talk less. I'm getting it now.
It helps.
Yeah, it helps, because from 11 in the night to 3 in the morning, what I can write, I would not be able to write for 18 hours in the day.
As it is believed that early morning, जिसको अमृत वेला कहते हैं, that is the most creative time.
Yes, it's the most creative time if you're an early morning riser. I have always had issues with sleep.
Okay.
So for me, the most creative time is from 11 to 3 in the morning. When Amrit time comes, I'm snoring away.
But you're kind of touching on it a bit, no?
I think we need to go beyond all this time, and we need to go beyond all this.
We have to create our own
every
moments.
moment give your best. Then it all becomes Amrit time.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
Are
true.
you trying to tell me murders don't take place during Amrit time?
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
So, I think we have put too much attention to everything else but our true being of giving our best to each moment and leaving the rest to the big boys up there.
What is this strange amalgamation of the traditional and the modern?
What is right is right.
As simple as
It's
that.
as simple as that.
Okay.
Okay? I will say the same thing 10,000 years later. Because what is right is right. 2 plus 2 is 4.
Yeah.
I can jazz it up.
Yeah.
I can make it 5 minus 1 and make it 4. But eventually, there are certain truths which. I just got an SMS now that, Baba, is so strange. So many of your quotes in Facebook, when you read other masters, 800 years ago, 900 years ago, they have said the same thing. 2 plus 2 is 4. I can say it in my words, and I can use swear words in it.
Which you love to do.
Yeah, which, you know, this is who I am. But it's not going to change the reality.
Yeah. And that is why Thiruvalluvar in this has, I mean, you're quoting 2000 years ago.
Yeah, and see how relevant it is.
Yeah,
so just see how relevant it is. I mean, I really, really have great respect for this man, that even 2000 years and beyond, he spoke such practical stuff. Like Baba always says that, you know what, if you spend time in a sewage, you are going to smell of shit.
Simple.
Yeah. And that's the same thing he has said.
And this is what any rock star would also tell you.
But that's
in terms of
but isn't it a reality?
It is a reality, yes.
So he says, be careful of who you associate with. Be very careful of who your friends are. Because you will be known by the company you keep.
But isn't it a strange irony that I get known by the company I keep? Won't the converse also be true?
Pardon me, I didn't get that.
Meaning, if I am in a sewage, or people who are negative, I get known by them. But why won't they get known by the fact
because
that I am
positive? Because you'll be sucked in it. You will smell of shit then. Okay. If I spend time in a rose garden, I'm going to be smelling of the earth and roses. The roses are not going to be smelling of me.
So it's a stronger always.
Yes, yes.
You know, when for people who are listening to this conversation and people who have read your books or haven't read your books or maybe just your blogs, what is the simple, you know, one-line spirituality that you can tell them?
Never doubt the divine wisdom or compassion. Never doubt it.
Be like Vasuki.
You may not agree with it,
okay,
but never doubt it. But the most simplest thing would be give your calm best to each moment and leave the rest to their wisdom. Joyous surrender is important, not just surrender. Joyous surrender. That's damn difficult.
It's a toughie.
Yeah, it's a nuisance.
Yeah.
But I think that is the crux of all spirituality.
The joyous surrender.
I accept thy will joyously, not just I accept thy will. Because I can turn and start muttering abuses after that. But if I accept it joyously, which means I've embraced whatever is in store for me.
You know, when things are going on an even keel, it's easier to accept all this. The moment things start going a little off kilter, the faith also gets shaken.
Then you've never really accepted it, Joyce.
As simple as that.
You can't be partially pregnant.
I suppose not.
You can't be partially pregnant. I can't tell my master that till things are going fine, I will accept it joyously. He'll say, you idiot. Then where is the surrender?
Yeah. But do you think the master also puts the disciple to test?
If the master is in a hurry to get you to a particular level,
right,
then God help you. You're going to be put through various tests. They are not for the sake of grades. They are so that you clean your karmic baggage at the earliest so that you move on to where he wants you to be. Only then will the master put you through a test. He doesn't have any other agenda.
Which we don't see in most of the televangelists that are around, saffron robes.
But why them? Do we see it in you and me? Do we see it in the normal person?
We are not proclaiming to be.
Why? Why do you need to proclaim? Aren't you a human being?
Yeah.
Aren't you the spark from the Creator? I mean...
no, what I mean is that, you know, sometimes when it comes to finding or trusting a true guru.
But where do you find a true guru?
Where do you find one?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe within yourself, yes. A true guru is big time. But then where do you find a true disciple?
That is true.
Yeah. So I think true gurus are not available because there are no true disciples. So once again it comes back to individual responsibility. Am I a true disciple? No. Then I have no right in talking about a true guru.
I believe that complete faith actually comes from a point of total distrust.
Total?
Distrust.
Complete faith.
Yeah. It's
What
like
is, okay, what is
it's
the
like
mean-
the Prophet would say, or
what
Buddha
is,
would say.
What is complete faith to you?
Like Buddha would say, or the Prophet would say, don't trust me because I'm telling you something. Let it be an empirical truth. You have to
Experience it.
experience it. And
You know,
मैंने बोला तो मत विश्वास
See, I'll
करो.
tell you one thing. I have taken Sai Baba of Shirdi as my master. Right? I think the only thing he has told me is give your best and accept whatever is in store for you with joyous surrender. Right?
Fair enough.
That's it.
No, I'm just talking about other people who have probably not found
But
Shri
if they
Baba.
make this their philosophy, trust me, it will open doors. I know it is difficult. I know it is difficult.
Yeah.
See, in any given situation, you got 3 alternatives. Okay? Let's say a man and a woman or 2 business partners are having problems. So, I tell myself, I'm going to put my 100% to resolve the situation. And I'll give myself this time. And let's say I give my 100%, and after that time elapses, I realize that no, nothing has got resolved. So now I have 2 alternatives. One is I tell myself, let it be, I will move on. Right? Or I say, I will stay. If I move on, then it's fine. But if I stay, I once again have 2 alternatives. I can crib, I can fight, I can create hell, or I say I've given my best, for whatever reason I cannot move on, then let me accept my lot as peacefully and calmly as possible. Now that is not only for spirituality, it is for anything.
Yeah.
It's for anything. So, you know.
No, you know, it's like for the common man, हम लोग बाजार में कुछ खरीदने जाते हैं तो वो परखते हैं कि 100% है कि नहीं. The salesman might cheat us, but at least we try to get the best.
So you put your best, right? You put in your best, right?
But how do you know you're getting your faith's worth?
You're
Because there
doing-
are so many, so many people in robes these days that it gets tough.
Listen to me. You ask me. You ask me. Be the best version of yourself. You are living as spiritual a life as you will ever live. Period.
You don't need to follow robes.
You don't need to follow anybody, because if you are living the best version of yourself, as a father, you are being the best father you can. As a spouse, as a friend, as an employer or as an employee, as a citizen, if you're giving the best version of yourself, I don't think you require anything else. You don't require robes, you don't require scriptures, you don't require anything. Because you can't give anything more. You're anyway giving the best version of yourself.
I think that would be easier for
Yes.
most of us to follow.
Yes.
Most of us need time off. What do you do?
You know, when I started channeling, Baba had told me very clearly that your day needs to have 3 things. You need to pray for an X amount of time.
Okay.
You need to work for an X amount of time. And you need to do things that you enjoy for an X amount of time.
Okay.
He said, if you don't have these 3 things, then it's a day wasted. So if you have these 3 things, then you actually don't need extended vacations.
So what are the kind of things you enjoy doing?
Well, I like to sit down with my friends, you know, have a cup of tea, or badly made cups of tea. I smoke, I talk to them. I like to take my daughter out on the bike.
Okay.
I like to watch movies. I like to read books.
What kind of movies?
Oh, all thrillers. Nothing spiritual. All thrillers.
And books?
Same.
Thrillers.
Same. Yeah. I don't read. I don't read anything spiritual.
Okay.
I don't read anything spiritual. Either I don't understand it, or Baba has already told me about it.
So it's like since you read it already, there's no point in.
You know, I'm anyway involved in channeling. I'm anyway involved in a lot of so-called spiritual activity.
Do you do anything to remain fit?
No, I don't think I'm fit. I don't. I am not living a very healthy life.
No yoga, no.
No. Unfortunately, no. Nothing.
Okay, so here's a start.
Yeah.
We have some yoga tips for you.
वृक्षासन। वृक्ष का अर्थ है पेड़। दोनों पैरों में 2 इंच की दूरी बनाकर खड़े हो जाएं। आंखों के सामने किसी बिंदु पर ध्यान केंद्रित करें। श्वास को शरीर के बाहर छोड़ते हुए दाएं पैर को मोड़कर उसके पंजे को बाएं पैर की अंदरूनी जांघ पर रखें। गहरी श्वास लेते हुए दोनों हाथों को ऊपर की ओर ले जाएं और हथेलियों को परस्पर मिलाएं। इस स्थिति में 10 से 15 सेकंड्स तक रहें। इस दौरान सामान्य रूप से श्वास प्रश्वास करें। इस आसन का अभ्यास बाएं पैर से भी करें। यह आसन शरीर को संतुलित बनाता है और सहनशीलता एवं जागरूकता बढ़ाता है।
Thank you for being on our program, Ruzben.
Thank you for calling me again.
Until next time then, goodbye.